You've probably wondered this at some point in your life, a quiet, unsettling question that rises when your actions don't match your intentions, when your reality doesn't match your potential, when your patterns repeat no matter how hard you try to change them. Why do I keep doing things I don't want to do? Why do I sabotage myself? Why do I stay stuck even when I'm trying to grow? Why does nothing I learn actually change me? You read the books, you watch the videos, you set goals, you get motivated, you promise this time will be different. But days pass, then weeks, and slowly, almost quietly, you drift back into the same cycles, the same habits, the same emotions, the same doubts, the same version of yourself you thought you had finally escaped. And it leaves you feeling broken, like something inside you is pulling you backward while you're trying to move forward. But here's what nobody told you. It isn't your fault. It's your programming. Your subconscious mind, the system running 95% of your thoughts, emotion, and behavior, was programmed long before you ever had a choice. And the people who told you just think positive, or just believe in yourself, or just change your mindset, lied to you. Not intentionally. They simply didn't understand the truth. You cannot think your way out of a subconscious program that was written in emotion, repetition, survival, and childhood wiring. Your subconscious does not follow logic. It follows familiarity. It follows safety. It follows conditioning. It follows the version of you that was shaped by the past, not the version trying to rise into the future. This is why your life doesn't change even when you want it to, even when you try to, even when you know better. Because knowing better is not the same as being reprogrammed. And until you understand how your subconscious actually works, how it was wired, why it resists change, and how to update the identity running your entire life, you will continue reliving versions of a story you didn't consciously choose. But once you do understand it, everything changes. Not slowly, not painfully, not with force, but naturally, because your subconscious finally aligns with the life you've been trying to create. But this is only the surface of the truth. You felt the effects your entire life, but you've never seen the machinery behind them. The real story lives deeper, in the hidden blueprint your mind created before you even knew you were building one. A blueprint that still shapes what you fear, what you attract, what you repeat, and what you allow yourself to become. Most people never see this structure. They never discover how it was formed, why it protects the past so fiercely, or how it quietly guides every decision you believe you're making consciously. But once you understand it, once you finally see where your programming came from and why it still runs your life today, your entire story begins to shift. Let's go deeper. To understand why your life keeps looping, why your patterns feel stronger than your intentions, why your behavior contradicts your goals, you must confront a truth most people never discover. Your subconscious mind was programmed long before you had the ability to choose your own identity. This is the part no one explained to you. This is what the self-help books left out. This is what positive thinking tries to bypass. Your subconscious was not shaped by your desires. It was shaped by your experiences, especially the ones you didn't understand. It learned from the tone of your parents' voice, the emotional climate of your home, what you were praised for, what you were punished for, how people reacted when you expressed yourself, what made you feel safe, what made you feel threatened, what helped you belong, what helped you avoid pain. These moments became the unspoken rules your subconscious now follows as if they were a universal truth. Those early emotional patterns didn't just influence you, they became you. And here is the part that changes everything. The subconscious does not care about what you want. It cares about what feels familiar. It would rather keep you in relationships that hurt, jobs that drain you, habits that sabotage you, and beliefs that limit you, than let you step into an identity your nervous system has never experienced before. Not because you're weak, not because you're broken, but because your subconscious is trying to protect you using outdated programming written during a time when you had no power and no context for what was happening to you. This is why your adult life feels so similar to your childhood patterns. This is why the same emotions repeat. This is why you attract the same dynamics. This is why change feels impossible even when you know exactly what to do. Your subconscious isn't sabotaging you. It's protecting you based on rules you never chose. And if those rules say, don't stand out, don't ask for more, don't get too close, don't trust happiness, don't expect success, don't be seen, don't grow beyond your environment, then your subconscious will guard those rules with everything it has. Because to the subconscious, what is familiar is what is safe, and what is safe is what must be protected, even if it ruins your potential. But here's where everything shifts. There is a moment in every person's life when they begin to sense the truth, that the patterns controlling them are not their fault, not their failure, and not a reflection of their worth. They are simply programs written by experiences you did not understand, with a brain that could not defend itself. And once you see this, you begin to realize you were never fighting yourself. You were fighting your programming. But programming can be rewritten, and the real story of your mind, your identity, and your future begins the moment you understand how. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize something unsettling, something that changes the way they see themselves forever. Your subconscious programming didn't just influence your life, it created the identity you think is you, not the real you, not the you beneath the layers, not the you sense in your quietest moments, but the version of you that was pieced together from fear, survival, repetition, and environment. The version of you that learned to stay quiet to avoid punishment. The version that learned to shrink to feel safe. The version that learned not to trust because trust once hurt. The version that learned self-doubt because confidence wasn't allowed. The version that learned to settle because wanting more felt dangerous. Those patterns didn't disappear when you became an adult. They became your automatic responses, your emotional compass, your familiar reality, your unconscious identity. And the most shocking truth is this: your subconscious would rather keep you in a life that hurts than allow you to become someone unfamiliar, even if that unfamiliar person is stronger, happier, and free. Not because it hates you, but because unfamiliar feels unsafe. Your subconscious was never wired for fulfillment. It was wired for survival. And survival shapes identity far more powerfully than desire ever will, until you learn to rewrite it. This is why your inner voice still echoes with old insecurities. This is why certain emotions pull you back even when your mind says you're ready to move forward. This is why self-sabotage feels automatic. This is why the life you want sometimes feels like it belongs to someone else. You don't lack discipline. You lack alignment. Your desires uprated, but your subconscious identity didn't. And this is where the true transformation begins. The moment you stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What programmed me to believe this is who I am?" Because once you ask that question, you step outside the identity your subconscious built, and you begin to glimpse the real you, the version untouched by conditioning, the version you were always meant to become. This is the identity shift, the quiet recognition that the you you've been living as was a construct, not a destiny, a learned pattern, not an unchangeable truth. And once you recognize the constructed self, You can begin creating a conscious one, a self not built from survival, but from intention, clarity, and choice. What comes next is the first step in rewriting the very programming that shaped your entire life, not by force, but by aligning with a more powerful identity than the one your past ever allowed you to express. And when you understand how to take that first step, your subconscious no longer leads your life, it follows it. You don't transform your subconscious with force. You don't overpower it with motivation. You don't escape it through willpower. You shift it by giving it something stronger than the programming it's been obeying. And the very first step is not to change your entire identity at once, but to introduce your subconscious to a version of you it has never met before. A version that feels calm instead of reactive, clear instead of confused, aligned instead of divided, certain instead of sabotaged. Because your subconscious doesn't respond to words. It responds to consistency, to repetition, to emotional signals, to the way you show up every day. This is why all your breakthroughs have been temporary. You tried to change your life without changing the signals your subconscious reads as truth. The shift begins when you stop trying to force a new life with an old identity and start embodying small signals that tell your subconscious, this is who we are now. We don't shrink here. We don't default to fear. We don't return to what hurt. We move intentionally. We choose differently. You teach your subconscious through actions that are small enough to repeat, but meaningful enough to register. One boundary honored, one moment of stillness, one choice made from clarity instead of fear, one tiny decision aligned with the future, not the past. These moments become the new normal your subconscious begins to accept. And once it accepts a new normal, it stops fighting you. It stops pulling you back. It starts aligning with the identity you're stepping into. Not because you forced it to change, but because you showed it a life that feels safer, clearer, and more truthful than the one you've outgrown. That's the beginning, the first doorway, the point where your subconscious stops resisting your future and starts preparing for it. What happens next is the final, deeper realization. The moment you understand why this transformation sticks when all the others didn't. There comes a moment in this journey when everything you've struggled with suddenly looks different. Not smaller, not erased, but understood. You began to see that your hesitation wasn't fear of the future, it was loyalty to the past. A past your subconscious believed was safer than anything unknown. You realize your patterns weren't evidence that you were broken. They were proof that your mind was doing everything it could to protect a version of you that no longer exists. And in that realization, something powerful happens. You stop fighting yourself. You stop blaming yourself. You stop assuming your struggles are signs of weakness and begin seeing them as signs of transformation. Because no one escapes old programming effortlessly. You outgrow it slowly, then suddenly, quietly, then unmistakably, moment by moment, choice by choice, until one day you feel something shift inside you, a clarity you didn't have before, a strength you didn't know you were building, a sense that the person you're becoming is no longer a possibility, but a reality forming in real time. That's when you know your subconscious is no longer defending your past. It's beginning to support your future. And from that point forward, your growth doesn't feel like a fight. It feels like alignment, like truth, like something inside you has finally decided to cooperate instead of resist. This is the moment your life starts to move differently. You think differently. You choose differently. You respond differently. You tolerate differently. You rise differently. Not because you forced yourself to change, but because the identity that once held you back is no longer the one you answer to. You're stepping into a life that matches the person you were always capable of becoming. And the next chapter of your journey, the one that feels expansive, aligned, and unmistakably yours, begins the moment you decide to live from the identity your subconscious is finally ready to follow.